waffles in the morning, syrup sweet and slow. Golden stacks are rising, sunrise in the glow. Sticky choice so grand, breakfast on demand. Smile and take my hand in waffle wonderland.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wafflecast. So today we're gonna it's crazy out there, okay? I'm gonna help you guys weather this pre-order taquitos.
What did he say?
Tarkir Dragonstorm that's out there, right? So let's talk about box prices first of all, right? Let's start there. TCG, SCG, Cool Stuff Inc., bunch of other places. They're relatively close, right? $119.99 to like $124.99 across the board. You're looking at a $5 difference here and there. MSRP is supposed to be $5.50 a pack. At $120, you're getting it at $4 a pack. So you're getting about $1.50 off, but after taxes and everything, I think you're looking more, quick math, probably around $4.30 a pack, right? Depending on where you live and if you pay taxes or not on sales tax. Collector boxes, pretty darn close. SCG, TCG, Cool Stuff, all of the above, they're about $320 to $330 before taxes and everything. So it's looking pretty even across the board. Now, I will say this, right? We already know that the Play Booster boxes are down to 30 packs per box. It's not 36 anymore. And this 120 price is what we were paying for like MKM, OTJ, things like that. So it's interesting how the price is still fluctuating around that 120, 130-ish area for 6 less packs. And then Collector is like thriving on this set. If you've seen a lot of the treatment, plus everyone loves Dwagons, people are going nuts over this set. So I want to talk about some stuff that's going on because of this set, right? There's a couple cards I want to bring up, right? Like Tempest Hawk. People are going nuts over this because we had Heir Apparent where you could have any amount of them in your deck, and Tempest Hawk is doing the same thing. But Tempest Hawk is not Heir Apparent. Heir Apparent is a much better card, first of all. It costs 2 for a 2/2. And when you play it, you get additional effects for each one that's out there. Tempest Hawk, on the other hand, isn't as good in my opinion. I'll tell you why. First of all, it costs 3 mana for a 2/2. Second of all, it has to deal damage in order to search out a Tempest Hawk. Yes, you could play a Tempest Hawk, attack, get another Tempest Hawk, play that Tempest Hawk. Next turn, you attack with 2 Tempest Hawks, hit for both triggers hit, you find 2 more, you play them. You can't keep up with putting out as many as you can find. So I feel like it starts to lose its luster very quickly. Not to mention board wipe, GG, at least with Heir Apparent, and I think they did this on purpose with Tempest Hawk. At least with Heir Apparent, you can raise the pass to get multiple copies back at the same time and get multiple triggers that all hit the same amount. Whereas Tempest Hawk, even if you find a way to bring them all back, you still got to wait a turn before you connect with them. So Tempest Hawk, I think, is a huge bust, especially at the price point of $3.40 for a common. Stay away from that card. In my opinion, stay completely away from Tempest Hawk. The next one we're going to look at, Mistrise Village. A lot of people are like, this is the next Beseiju, who shelters all. We're going to have it in standard. You can't counter. Okay, first of all, we have Cavern of Souls to protect your creatures from being countered. Second of all, this is not Beseiju. Beseiju, you tapped it for 1, I believe. Hold on.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
This is not Beseiju, right? Because Beseiju, you would tap it to pay 2 life and add 1 mana to your mana pool. If that mana is spent on an instant or sorcery, it can't be countered. Now, this makes it to where any spell you cast is uncounterable, but you have to have 2 mana, basically, a blue and it to tap to make your next spell uncounterable. So, using this for a creature is irrelevant. You're going to use this more for casting a big win condition or board wipe or something that's an instant or sorcery already. So But Seiju is a better fit if you're playing it in Modern or Pioneer versus playing this in Standard. For $23, I don't like the price tag. Maybe $5 to $10 for a copy, 1 or 2 copies. I think that's reasonable, but I don't think at $23 this is a card you want to pre-order. It's not going to be as hot to trot as people think it is, and I would say buyer beware. A lot of these cards we're going to talk about, I have this mentality towards, because I want you guys to weather this storm of pre-orders, right? I know, terrible dad joke, whatever. Moving on, Ugin, right? So Ugin, very powerful planeswalker that they printed. Comes into play, exile a colored permanent. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile a permanent with 1 or more colors. It's very, very doable to utilize this card in a way in Standard to be like, cast a Ugin, pay 0 to put 3 mana into my pool, cast 3 1-drop artifacts, and exile 4 permanents on 1 turn. I do believe Ugin will see play in Standard. I do believe it is a very powerful card, but at an $81 price tag, yeah, I'm not loving that. I think Ugin will steadily fall to, let's say, the $30-$40 range, and I think that's a little bit more reasonable. If he doesn't get into a deck immediately, I could see him falling as low as $20 a pop. I think if he falls to $20 a pop, I'm going to pick up a playset. Because I think he's going to be very, very usable. And once that deck is figured out, be ready. It's going to climb back up to $30 to $50 a pop. Next, we're looking at Mox Jasper, right? Mox Jasper came out, I think it was at a high of like 100 to 110 at one point. This is not Mox Amber. This is not Mox Opal as far as power level. Now, it is a Mox. It does cost 0, but you can only use it if you control a dragon. So, is it really that good? I think... Now, don't get me wrong. I think this card will be playable. I think it will be usable. But the fact that you have to control a dragon to activate it, if you, off the top of my head, there's not a ton of dragons that are really low costed. Dragons are pretty high costed usually. Now, there are changelings, there are other things, but that's not in Standard. That's in Modern and Pioneer. So, for Standard, at this price tag, I would not be buying it. And it has been plummeting. I see it dropping heavily. If this thing hits $15, $20, $30, I would say pick up some. Because at 15, I think is the lowest it'll drop if it goes that low. I doubt it, but it'd be really nice if it did. But I just don't see it dropping that far. I see it probably stabling around 30 to 40 because somebody does come out with some kind of deck in Standard or in Modern that really just drives home with this. We do have the bannings coming up on March 31st. So if Breach gets banned and Jasper's coming in, you got Opal, Jasper, and Amber, and they can come up with some quick dragon deck, I wouldn't be surprised if that card gets played. But Standard, I got to see it to believe it on this one. And then last but not least, this card is not in Dragonstorm, but it is creating quite the storm in the world.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Because this card has shot up so much in the last, what was today, 24th? So last week, really. Back on March 18th, you could get a copy of the list variant or of the regular Tiamat, and it was about $10. Now they're going to run you about $40 to $50. And the reason being is because we just got a whole bunch of dragons spoiled. They just spoiled that crazy enchantment that you can win the game if you put 5 1/1 counters, 1/1 counter on up to on 5 different dragons. So Commander is really driving this one. This is not a standard thing. This is not a modern thing. This is strictly Commander shenanigans driving up Tiamat. I think once the dust settles from the storm, Tiamat will fall back down to $10-20 a piece. I don't think it's going to sustain at the $35-55 range that it's at right now. Obviously, the promos and the pre-release ones and the little bit scarcer ones are going to be a little bit higher price for a while. So if you like to throw money at bling, you're going to pay for it. But I think even those will come down in price once everyone kind of sees, yeah, this is a cool little way to win, but it's not as powerful as we thought it was going to be. So that's my take on some of the stuff in Dragonstorms coming out. I will be doing a video once all of the cards are spoiled. I will be doing what cards I think will be most impactful in Standard coming up. I've been looking at some of my older videos, and I think I'm batting like 57% at figuring out some of the key cards that are going to do well in Standard. Because honestly, I think that's a pretty good percentage. Because I do 2 of each color plus, I do a rare of each color / colorless, and then multicolored. So you're looking at about 14-15 cards that I talk about, and I'm running 57-60%. That's pretty good. Maybe 7 out of 15 to 9 out of 15. I'll take it. You know, that's pretty hard to guess out of an entire set like that. But anyways, enough. You know, talking about that. Let's talk about the real shit here. But yeah, other than that, that's what I'm going to talk about today for Dragonstorm. I think if you want to buy a collector box and you got money to blow, by all means, have fun. Try to get a, Willy Wonka golden ticket Ugin, or the little fancy dragon basic lands you can only get in the collectors. So if you're just somebody who wants to bling out decks and you want to get some cool hits, yeah, collector boosters a thing. I still am not buying sealed product. I'm going to buy singles out of the set that I need, especially working towards Standard. And if there's any modern stuff that comes out of here for the deck that I play, which I haven't really looked a whole lot yet because I've been scouring over modern events and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'll have that Impact Standard video coming out soon as we get all the spoiled. And then, I got end of May, I'm going out to Indianapolis. If you're going to be there, you want to talk with me and hang out, I will be at the Spotlight Series in Indianapolis. That's another thing, one real quick. Denver Spotlight Series is Tarkir sealed. So you don't have to pre-order and get all this stuff to play in the Spotlight Series in Denver. And so you can wait till after that tournament to see the prices drop to really get an idea of what you need to get, being that that's going to be a limited event, it's going to be interesting to see how much that impacts the market as far as people selling off the really high valued items. But anyways, and got more content coming out. We finally hit the we can apply for memberships. We're in the process of that right now to get approved to be partially monetized. So thank you guys so much for watching the videos, liking, subscribing, all of that. It helps the channel a lot. So with that, I've got a lot of stuff I'm going to start working on to work on memberships so that when memberships go live, boom, there's stuff there for you ready to go if you want to sign up and support the channel. But with that, guys, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. And as always, stay syrupy, my friends.
Waffles in the morning, syrup sweet and slow, golden stacks are